Hey, this is Bond Diesel bringing you the final underground intel insights. This time we're going to be following Brandon O'Reilly, who is a cleaner, and we'll be talking about some of the issues that they've been having and what they're trying to do down in the tunnels. So we'll listen to what he has to say and then discuss at the end.
Shift report. So, some of the guys have been saying they've spotted people prying up the manhole covers at night, ducking into the sewers. Our guys were too far away to decontaminate, and it ain't easy to run in this gear. But they marked the manhole cover, and I've been trying to patrol the area, just in case anything or anyone pops up. As far as I'm concerned, anybody going down there is for sure infected. You don't hide when you got nothing to hide for. Crap, I saw him. I couldn't believe it. It was a ways away, so first I thought it was rats. But rats don't come that big, not even in New York. And rats don't slide manhole covers back. I called to the guys and started heading that way, but the target scattered, just like vermin do. But that's when I had the idea. We figure out where infected are hiding down there, it'll be easy to get them cornered. Can't exactly scatter in a sewer, can you? Whatever's down there, they're even dirtier than the ones up here. They got more than just the virus. We can't afford to ignore the threat. All the guys are talking about the mole people now. That's what we're calling them anyways. Gotta be a priority now. There are rumors maybe somebody's found a way off the island down there. If that's true, that's gonna make our work even harder. And very dangerous for all the innocent people outside who are still safe. When I think of the selfish bastards who'd put people like Maeli in danger when they're just gonna die anyway, it makes me sick to my stomach. No one wants to be a sacrifice, I get that. But we all gotta keep in mind the bigger picture now. Anyone left on this island? Well, we're not getting out. Like it or not. I've been put on special shift work, me and a bunch of the guys. We're gonna go down there and root that scum out. It's high time. We can't let people hide from what needs to be done, and we sure as hell can't let people get out if the rumors are true. We start at dawn. We figure they'll still be asleep without sun waking them up. We think they're coming up at night to forage, so we gotta get them when they're tired. Can't put up a fight. Started the patrols today. Jesus, it's nasty under there. Hard to believe anybody'd live in that filth. I mean, even before this shit hit the fan, people lived down there. Had dogs. Christ, we found a whole colony of them. Deceased, still wrapped up in their blankets, sometimes two in one blanket. Had to sterilize the whole area. Took a lot of fuel, but we have to be thorough. A couple of dogs came by and we got them too, but they just ran off down the tunnel. Christ, the shadows in the tunnels as they ran, all lit up and howling. Jesus, it was something. Woke up in a cold sweat this morning. Crap. Dreaming about Ellie again. And Carol too this time. But Carol's a grown woman. She's at least had some kind of life. Ellie's just a little girl. If she gets this thing... Christ, I can't even think. But she won't get it. I'm not gonna let this thing get to Minnesota. Those bastards down there are not getting out of this city. Not if I have anything to do with it. We are gonna clean those damn tunnels out if it's the last thing I do. I've been hunting the tunnels pretty regular now. Been a rough go so far. Can't move too fast, and some of those people, they've been there a while. They know how to get away. Starting to wonder if they really do got away off the island. Like maybe they could get to Brooklyn or Queens or Jersey. Because if that's so, I just keep seeing Ellie's face. In that photo Carol sent me last year. She was only 3 then. She's 4 since November. Sweetest thing you ever saw. Wonder what she looks like now. My beautiful little Ellie. Can't let this get to her. Can't. Today. Well, first bright spot in a while, frankly. Spotted a group. They was far off, but I think maybe they had little ones. Which means they'll move slow. Slower than us, maybe. Followed them for a while, closing in, getting closer. And then they turned down a tunnel that we went down yesterday. And we know it's a dead end. It goes on for a mile or something, but then it ends in a dead stop. So once we catch up to them, that's it. One more threat taken out. So, you know, that did not go the way I thought. I'm not even sure what to tell you. Don't know my own mind anymore. Maybe this thing is finally starting to get to me. Starting to crack my nut. We were going after him. The family. Yeah, down the dead end. Should be easy, right? Nothing I ain't done before. Just gotta keep your focus. But something happened. Arnie and me chased them all the way to the end. Got the torches going. We're ready to finish this thing and move on. But it's a family. They got a baby. A little girl. And she looks like Ellie. She's crying. Her mom's crying. And the look on the dad's face. I don't know. Arnie was waiting for me to do something. And I told him to move back out, leave him alone. I tell the guy to wait 20 minutes, and then leave and never come back. Arnie and I walk back out. He's asking me the whole time, what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck. I got nothing to say. And I can tell by the way he's starting to shout that this ain't gonna go well. Very least, he's gonna tell the others that either I'm too scared or too much of a pussy or some other bullshit, that I can't do this anymore. I tell him to shut up and walk in front so we don't get any ideas. I can tell he's nervous, like he don't trust me no more. And I don't know. Maybe he's onto something. Just might be.
So this one is kind of interesting because in a couple of the other, the last two, Ben Winston and Sammy Marie, you're kind of hearing someone's descent into psychosis, right? Or at least descent, a degradation of their mental capacities in some point, in some way. Where this one, the cleaners to me are one of the most interesting factions that we fight against, because at the end of the day, they're trying to do good. They're mostly fueled, no pun intended, by this desire to save the world, right? And specifically family members. So if you know the Joe Farrow's story, or if you've read the little snippets during loading screens and stuff like that, his wife was one of the first people who died of the dollar flu. Now before that, if you listen to some of the recordings and stuff that we'll eventually go over, he was always kind of a conspiracy theorist, kind of an anti-government person, stuff like that, which is kind of funny because he literally was a government employee, a sanitation worker, I believe. And you see this guy go from kind of the typical cleaner MO of we need to clean out the disease, burn it all up, get rid of it, cleanse it. But you see him go from that to not. One of the big things, two things I noticed. One being he describes the scene that Monica Phillipson came upon. So if you remember in Monica Phillipson's intel, she talks about finding a group of charred bodies and outlines of bodies and wondering if they were alive or not. In this one, you find out that they were already dead. I believe they're talking about the same group. he talks about there being multiple people under blankets, but they were all deceased, and so they burned them up because it used a lot of fuel. He says, which you're like, okay, that seems reasonable. That makes sense, and you almost are like, oh wow, okay, that's a reasonable thing to do. And then he goes on to talk about a couple of dogs that they see and that they light them on fire and don't kill them. They probably died eventually, but they go running down the tunnels on fire. So, you kind of lose any sympathy for him at that point. There's a recurring theme here of him talking about his wife and daughter. Doesn't go too deep into that. I kind of wonder whether or not he's even has anything to do with them anymore. It almost sounds like he might be trying to defend two people who want nothing to do with him for whatever reason. It's hard to speculate that, but yeah. And another thing I noticed, the second thing I noticed, was that he goes from referring to everyone as them, or like it, referring to all the people that they're killing in like a dehumanizing way. Well, obviously there at the end with this last family he sees, he's talking about them as people, and he's unable to kill them, right? And just when you think that maybe his humanity is coming back, he's basically contemplating and thinking about what he's going to have to do to his partner in crime here, who he's afraid is going to rat on him to the other cleaners, that he let some infected, potentially infected people go. This one, it mentions some things. It talks about the mole people. He's specifically referencing the civilians hiding in the sewers. It talks about some other stuff, the tunnels, the way out. Again, I think this is reinforcing probably something significant in a sequel or an expansion of this game, where Keener and maybe other people have gotten out of Manhattan and either to other cities or in the boroughs around. And I feel like that's probably the most of the narrative here. But the biggest thing for me was, it was kind of funny how in some of these other recordings, you hear the people slowly going crazier and crazier or losing it, where this guy, he almost has a type of revelation of, going from just treating all these people who are down in the tunnels as these infected monsters, and he sees them as humans at the end. So I think this was kind of a cool one. This is a good way to wrap up the Underground. I have decided that I am going to move on and do all of the regular intel as well. Might as well keep this series going. It kind of looks like we might be getting some news about the game soon. In fact, by the time this recording comes out, we may have heard something. I'm recording this in the middle of January. So until then, if you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, even comment. I would love to hear what you guys think about this or your own ideas. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Those links are down in the description. And other than that, until next time, this is Bond Diesel.